Hey, buddy, it's Maggie Mulhern from Modern Salon. I'm here with Francesco.
Ruggerino.
Oh, it's so cool. What a beautiful name.
Thank
And
you.
he is the owner of the Prema Salons, one in Australia and one in New York.
Yep.
And this is pretty cool because you say there are huge differences between the U.S. hairdresser and the Australian hairdresser. What?
Yeah, there are differences. I mean, it's more so with the model. I mean, it's interesting to come to another market and you look at the way that not so much the way that hairdressing is done, because ultimately there are obviously some differences, but the way that business is done culturally, and then it is quite interesting when you but even from salon to salon it can be different, even in the same place. So yeah, it is very different in the way that the model works and the way that the hairdressers are, but I mean, it's just the challenge of growing and learning and meeting different people, and
All right, so what can we learn from you in the U.S.? What can we learn from the Australian model and the Australian hairdresser?
One thing I really like about the Australian model is that the level of training that they have. I mean, I love the whole beauty school thing. I love the fact that you've got to pay a lot of money for beauty school and you take it seriously, and then the way that you assist and how that works and grows. I love that part of it. However, in Australia, like, we study for 3 years, so that the training, I think, is in some ways a little stronger in creating stronger foundations with the hairdressers. But then again, the assistant program in America, the way that works is they come in and they assist in salon and learn from the seniors. That's good too. So I think training could be a little bit better, but I also love the way that you guys service in America and the way that you really hungry to build clientele, especially with the commission model, because we're a commission model and it forces the hairdresser to be hungry as the salon owner, which is kind of cool. I like that.
Right, so you kind of answered it, but I was going to ask you more specifically, what can the Australian hairdresser learn from us?
I think what the Australian hairdresser can learn, I think that basically Americans are really client-centric. That's very much about the customer, especially because of the whole commission thing. They're very service-orientated and very about building the relationship with the client. They are in Australia as well, absolutely. I'm not saying they're not, but they're just hungrier for it with the way that it's set up in America. So I kind of like that part of it.
All right, so this is not a salon question, but in general, there are many people from different nationalities that can't wait to come to America, and you find them all over America. But not a lot of Australians. You guys are very happy there. What is that all about?
Well, it's funny because, I mean, you've got different kinds of Australians. I mean, the good thing about Australia, it's a bit like California. It's very beach culture, and it's a beautiful, simple, great life, but also it's very cosmopolitan. So why would you leave? But sometimes some Aussies leave because, they want, like, to explore the world a little more, and they've got maybe a bit more of an adventurous sort of spirit. But I mean, and there are a lot of Australians abroad. I mean, being in New York City, we get a lot of Australians there as well, and a lot of people travel. But yeah, I mean, we like staying in our country because it's amazing over there. But in saying that, I mean, America's great too. So.
All right, so what is the future for you and your salon in the U.S.?
Well, ultimately, it's all about growth. It's about developing a team and continuing to build what we're building. I mean, after doing it in Australia, I mean, we've done a great job in Australia. We've got about, we've got two big salons there. We've got about 70, 80 staff and do a great job there, which is great. And doing a lot of the big work out of Australia, I thought that after doing that, I think as an entrepreneur, the next challenge was going to be, okay, well, if you do it well in Sydney, which is great. I mean, New York City's a bit of a dream. So if you're going to challenge yourself as an entrepreneur, I thought, I'd throw myself into New York City and see what that would bring. And it's been tough. I mean, it's been sobering. It's a real a challenging market. But I mean, you just continue pushing, developing your team, developing obviously your culture, and building clientele one client at a time. So just building the business, of course.
So we're here at Global Zoom, the Goldwell Global Zoom 2018 in Toronto. How many of these have you been to?
I've been to a lot of MBEs with the Gold Ball, with the Australian network, and then ultimately some of the American salons come as well. So I've been to a lot of Gold Ball events, which is always good and always fun seeing old faces and networking and building relationships, and also speaking and hanging out with like-minded people that we're passionate about the same sort of things. But this is the first Zoom, which I've really enjoyed. I really enjoyed myself a little bit too much last night, to be honest. I'm a little hungover today, so if I'm a bit croaky,
I was warned.
Yeah.
By you.
Yeah. I know. I did warn you because I'm a shell of a man today, but it's okay. Thank you for delaying the meeting till 11 o'clock. It was supposed to be at 10:30 this morning. I was thinking when Mary texted me, I thought, oh, thank God.
Yeah, and he showed up at 11:30. So.
Yeah, that's because they wouldn't let me in. But anyway,
okay,
yeah.
That's a good excuse,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
All right, so my last question, I'll let you go have some coffee or
Yeah,
whatever,
no, that's
whatever
all
it is
good.
you need.
Thank you. A bit of a pick me up.
And back to Global Zoom. I mean, that was a wild show. I mean, it's
Yep.
great. And what would be your advice to any hairdresser from anywhere in the world about attending these kinds of shows?
I think that basically you've got to keep pushing yourself, and you've got to refine the love that you have for what you do. And if it's whether it's basically through awards presentations or competing, or whether it's through shows, or whether it's through platform or education, or whether it's through team building, or whether it's through runway and fashion editorial, you've got to keep pushing yourself in order for you to not only keep building and keep becoming the best version of yourself, but also to just re-love what you do and remind yourself, because it's great connecting with people that have been in the game for 3 years or 33 years. And I think we all share the same sort of thing, that you need to constantly keep reminding yourself, be around like-minded people, you learn from them, you push yourself. And I think it's great for everyone's career path. So I really would, and last night was great. It was actually good, even though it was country for country, we're all in it together. Like it was a bit funny. I sat there in the Australian section, and I had all the other countries around me, and everyone's cheering for their own country. I thought, oh God, I'd rather make it all inclusive. In saying that, we all felt like part of something, and just seeing people really push themselves. I said to someone, actually the boss of Gobble in Australia, I said, what I really like about it is that these young kids, and they're just, no matter what they're doing, they're just trying to be better. They're pushing themselves as opposed to just being lazy, which is what I like about Colour Zoom and all these sorts of things. Just people keep pushing themselves, and I think we need to.
And honestly, everybody who entered was a winner. Anybody in the room last night was a winner. It was just such a great event. So nice meeting you. Go get some coffee. Pull yourself
thank you.
together. And good luck. I'm going to stop by and visit you in New York.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Do you come to New York every now and then?
That's
or
where
you're
I
around
am.
there? Oh, you live there?
Yeah.
No
I'm
way.
based there, yeah.
All
So-
right. Well, I'm sure that you've hooked up with salons, but have you got a card or something? So I'll grab you
Yeah,
a card.
and we'll do that off.
Yeah, I'll give you off camera. We'll do that.
All right, thank you so much. We'll see
You're
you.
welcome.
All right,
Okay.
bye.